Welcome! ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Friday, the 15th of December. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Title sponsor of everything ZASLOW Show 2.0. That, of course, includes this weekend. Another edition of It's Still Real to Me, my wrestling podcast. We'll have another one this weekend. Good to have you with us here. It is Friday. We made it. We did it, everybody. We got to the weekend. And, of course, so much action going on. All of our favorite sports, all the major sports, college football playoffs are right around the corner, and Bet Online is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including news from pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, NHL games this season. Head to the website today, get into the action, and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. We did it, everybody. We got to Friday. We are here. Got a big weekend as far as the ZASLOW family goes. Big soccer weekend right before the holidays begin. You got the soccer tournaments. So we were very busy last weekend doing soccer tournaments. We got another one this weekend starting tonight. Hopefully this weather's been a disaster the last couple days. I've been getting a new roof put on my house as well this week. That's going to take a little while, but all the weather, that sucks. And of course, with the soccer this weekend, we got the Holiday Cup in Coral Springs all weekend. That begins tonight. Weston Select U15 boys, they won the Miami Classic Cup last weekend. So looking to get another trophy for the trophy case here with the Holiday Cup, which they have never won. So looking to have some fun this weekend. A lot of soccer going on. Hey, it's Friday, okay? That means we got a lot of big games. We got a lot of not big games, all right? So I'll let you know so you don't have to waste your time. There's so much happening last night. Heat and Panthers, terrible night. Double dick punch. Everybody knows that's what happened last night. I'm so sore from the double dick punch last night. And you know, so the Heat game ends, and it's, all right, Panthers, you're up. Like, time to save the night. Panthers aren't in trouble, but the Panthers are in a bad spot right now. We'll get to that. Back-to-back losses on this road trip. 4-0 to Seattle, and they stink. Vancouver's really good, but back-to-back 4-0 losses for the Panthers. That's not how you want the, two out of the first 3 games to go here on this 5-game road trip. The Heat lose last night for the first time this year, a game that they never led. We'll get to that as well. Now, you may notice we've changed up. If you're watching on the video right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@ZASLOWShow. Podcast is what's important. That's where the bread and butter is for me. So I want everybody always to listen on the podcast. That's why I only put part of the show on YouTube, but I always put all the interviews. I feel like you guys like when you could see the interview, see the guests. I feel like that adds a little bit more to it. And maybe you're just seeing the clips right now that obviously I post on social media, which is great for all of our advertisers, all of our sponsors. But we've rearranged the ZASLOW Mansion studio here in the ZASLOW Mansion master bedroom, of course, right there. We're just a few feet away from where all the magic happens. I mean, come on, you know what we're talking about, right? So changed up the camera angle, changed up the desk. I hope everything sounds okay, and or at least sounds the same. I'm not technically savvy. I mean, even though I got a whole crew here, got a whole team that works and puts together the show, ZASLOW Show 2.0, every single day. I can't do without all your hard work. You guys are awesome, all right? Don't take offense to any of this. But I hope that all the sound is okay, because I had to change a little bit of the wiring and all that stuff, rearranged a few things. You know, sometimes, not that it's a big difference, that this view that I'm putting out there now for the clips and all that, but sometimes I feel like, people on social media, you can wind up skipping past the clips if it feels like it's getting monotonous, if it feels like it's the same thing. And not that this is much of a different camera angle, but it's a little bit different. So I feel like maybe it catches your eye. Oh, look, something different going on with ZASLOW Show 2.0. What's this? And you click play and you listen or you watch or whatever it is. So We've changed it up a little bit here. Also, gives me a bit more room, a little bit more spacious. Got to have the leg room. Sometimes leg room is very important for guys like me. I mean, come on. So we've changed things up a little bit here, and I hope overall everything sounds okay. Breaking news, by the way, and last night you had Thursday Night Football. You knew it was going to be a dreadful game. Raiders beat the Chargers 63-21. For a while, it looked like they were to get the record. It looked like they were to pass the Dolphins at 70 and get the record. 73 is the all-time football record. 72 is the record in the Super Bowl era. 70, of course, the Dolphins earlier this season. And the Raiders were up 49-0 at one point. They were up 42-0, I believe, at halftime. There was such little effort from the Chargers. I only watched a little bit of the game because obviously I had the Heat game. Heat game ends, I'm going to put the Panthers on. And I had a little bit of the football game on the small TV in the ZASLOW Mansion family room while I was watching the Heat game. But then it was like, first of all, I wanted to go upstairs. I wanted to watch with my wife in bed. So I'm watching the Heat, and then we're going to switch over to the Panthers. You don't have the two TVs in the ZASLOW Mansion family room. Let's not get crazy, okay? And I wasn't about to, spend any energy putting the football on when it's a 49-0 game. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Well, anyway, breaking news right now. Brandon Staley's been fired, which you all knew was happening. You knew that was coming. There was no reason to keep him around, especially because Justin Herbert is out for the rest of the year now after having the surgery on his finger. Brandon Staley, gone. You can't, this late in the season, when you're already under fire, you can't have an effort like last night. You can't be down 49-0. You can't give up 63 points. That's not professional football. Now, Sean Payton can survive a 70-20 loss. Dolphins scored more than the Raiders there. Dolphins beat the Broncos by more than the Raiders just beat the Chargers. Sean Payton's going to survive that. A, he has a resume. B, it was early in his first season as head coach. But even at that point, you were saying to yourself, maybe Sean Payton's not the right guy. Maybe they need to move on from Sean Payton. And if you're having even a smidgen of that kind of conversation when it comes to Sean Payton, who's an established good coach, Brandon Staley was so fired last night. So Brandon Staley fired this morning. Obviously, that'll bring a little bit more fuel to the fire with Belichick because what was it only a few days ago? Tom Curran from Boston Globe, I believe, or NBC Sports New England, whatever the fuck, nobody cares, and reported a few days ago how the Patriots have already decided that they're going to part ways with Belichick. Well, now you get this news, and this was the team, right? That maybe Belichick will leave for the Chargers. Now, Amber Wilson and I discussed this when I filled in on Amber and Ian, one of a bunch of times that I've done that a couple weeks ago. We talked about this. By the way, Amber and Ian, every night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. Great girl. Top female sports talk shows in the country. Let's be honest here. So I'll be on the show again next week on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. But we talked about this recently where Chargers are a cheap franchise. Belichick would be expensive as it is. Now, Belichick is expensive and they're paying Brandon Staley to go away. So I don't know if that's the spot for Belichick. And on top of it, I discussed this before a couple days ago where I like the idea of Belichick getting fired. Now, he's not going to get fired. It's going to be mutual parting ways. But we know he's getting fired if he's gone. I like that idea because I want him gone in shame. And most of all, I don't want him to catch Shula's record. I mean, fuck Bill Belichick, man. But here's the thing. If Belichick stays in New England, you feel pretty good about their chances of not winning games over the next few years and not surpassing Shula. If he goes to a place like the Chargers, look, right now he's 15 wins back. Let's say the Patriots get one more win this year. They win 4 games this year. 14 back. You go to a team like the Chargers, Justin Herbert, you're winning at least 8 or 9 games next year. You're 2 seasons away from him getting the record. When if he stays in New England, I don't know that he gets the record. You're a bunch of years away from that. So it's a little bit of what we call a double-edged sword, all right? So you got a double-edged sword with Belichick, and he's going to get fired, going to the Chargers. And then you got the double dick punch, which was last night, of course, as the Heat and the Panthers both lost. So it was up to the Panthers to save the night, right? And they're down 2-0 after one. And it felt like the Panthers were playing pretty well, though, even though they were down 2-0. And then Bobrovsky gives up the worst goal you're going to see him give up all year. And, I don't get crazy on Bobrovsky's case anymore because that's my guy now. After what happened last year, now he can have bad games, you can be critical, but that's my guy now. He gave us all-time memories. He did, now, you want to win a Stanley Cup, but he did what they brought him here for. He handles the puck, which he doesn't do so much. He handles the puck, literally passes it in front of his net, open net, right on the tape of the Canuck, who, buries it so easily. Stupidest goal. That made it 3-0, and then 4-0, I believe, after a power play. And this was like late in the second period. Gotta shut that shit off. I don't have time for this anymore. I'm putting on wrestling. Let's catch up on AEW Dynamite Continental Classic, all right? First Panther game this year, didn't see the end. Didn't see a third period. Shut that shit off. Woke up this morning, checked my phone. It was 4-0 when I turned it off late in the second. And you're pulling up the score. 5-4 Panthers. 5-4 Panthers. Nope, 4-0. So literally missed nothing. And I will say, I like Panthers have a good record. They're still fine, but actually there's a little bit to worry about there because back-to-back games that they've been shut out, that hasn't happened in 12 years. And it seemed like they got a little bit of a problem scoring here. Number one, Kachuk hasn't been scoring. I think he's got 5 goals on the year. They're not getting the scoring from Montour. No goals yet this season. Ekblad, no goals yet this season. They're not getting enough offense. The first two lines for the Panthers are fine. But like that third line, Loisterinen, Cousins, Lundell, that was amazing in the postseason. They're not getting it from those guys. So the Panthers they got a little bit of an issue here. Little bit of an issue. But I like that we can be critical of them, even though they have a pretty good record. That's a good thing. That means we're taking this team serious. That's what that means. So I like that. That's how you treat a team that you care about. That's how you treat a team that has championship, has Stanley Cup aspirations, where it's, all right, you could be winning games or even lose games and still have a good record and be critical because there's a bigger picture here. And there's a bigger picture. And right now, not everything's so great with the Panthers, despite having a really good record. Before we get to the Heat, so yesterday afternoon, I finished up the show. My older son, stayed home from school yesterday because he wasn't feeling well. I think there's something going around. Anyway, I feel fine, #blessed. And so my son stayed home from school, and he's watching, and I decided to sit down and watch with him. He's watching Squid Game, The Challenge. Now, this is a reality show. It's a reality game show. So it's real. So real people. They don't kill you like in the show Squid Game. But I like telling you guys, and I told you this originally, when Squid Game originally came out, me and my son were on it before anyone else. We saw the previews of it. He came up to me one day. He's like, Dad, have you seen previews for the show Squid Game? And I said, yes. And he says, do you want to watch it? I said, yes, I do. And we sat and we watched it, and we loved it. And then everyone else started to pick up on it. Listen, I'm a trendsetter, all right? And so we love Squid Game. And he's now watching the reality show. And so I sat down and watched them yesterday. We watched the whole season yesterday. Now, I missed like the first episode and a half. It's 10 episodes. We spent the whole day. Well, a very productive day. We spent the whole day watching Squid Game. And now overall, I liked it. Although I didn't like the finale. I didn't like the final game. Overall, I liked it. A lot of uncomfortableness, scheming, and planning, and teaming up in alliances. And a bunch of the games I really liked as well. But I got to tell you, and I asked this yesterday on Twitter, have you seen this new reality show, Squid Game, The Challenge? Holy shit, is there so much crying. So, like, me and my son are laughing throughout the crying. It's a game. They're playing games. They're playing stupid games, matter of fact. They're playing games. They're playing kids' games. That's what's so wild about the show Squid Game is they're playing kid games, and when you get eliminated, you get killed. It's kid games. But anyway, they're playing games. And I understand you're meeting people and you're forming relationships. And so, like, they're all sad when their friends are getting eliminated. Friends, did you forget that this is a game and $4.5 million available? And you're crying when people are getting eliminated? I'm telling you, there was so much crying, it was nauseating. And some of these people were such cornballs. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them were so corny, but so much crying. And you know, the hug, I love you. They were probably in that dorm, you know, doing Squid Game for maybe 5 days would be my guess, 6 days. If you made it to the end, you're hugging and kissing people and telling them that you love them? What are we doing? My son and I, we're laughing. I don't know. Maybe we have black hearts. Maybe we're too cold. We're laughing hysterically at these people. Hugging and kissing. I love you. Oh, it's so stupid. Anyway, so I recommend it. We enjoyed it. But man, were some of them corny. Have you seen Squid Game? If you watch the original and you like it, go watch this one. So the Heat last night, the Heat lose to the Chicago Bulls, a game that they trailed the entire game. First time all season that the Heat did not lead at any point in the game. They were down 33-8 at one point. And they got back in. I mean, they got within 4, I think it was, several times. They cut it to 4 late in the first half, matter of fact. It was 25 early in the second, and they got within 4. I think they trailed by 5 at halftime. And then a couple times in the second half and in the fourth quarter, they got within 4, they got within 5, but never closer than 4. They never got the ball back with a chance to tie. And they were at so they're 14-11 now. They've lost the Bulls twice. So stupid. That team sucks. They've lost them twice now. The Heat stink at home. Road Warriors, good on the road, stink at home. And this is a team that can beat anyone and can lose to anyone. And it's been like that for a few years now. This team is the sum of its parts. And when you're missing Josh Richardson, obviously missing Tyler Hero, missing Haywood Highsmith. Look, they have enough, right? That's their mantra. But it gets to a point where you need Bam Adebayo back. Like, they can't defend without him. He's probably the best team defender in the NBA. He's one of the best one-on-one defenders, probably the best one-on-one defender in the NBA. And like I said, for a team that can beat anyone and lose to anyone, you eventually gotta get Bam Adebayo back. So, team's struggling right now, especially defensively. But I'll tell you, the one thing that keeps me from getting crazy with these Heat losses is what Jaime Jaquez Jr. is doing. I'm in a place where, because we know what the Heat are going to be. We know where they're going to be at the end of the season. I'm in a place where if the Heat lose, I still get satisfaction from the game based on Jaime Jaquez Jr.'s performance. He had 22, I think it was last night. Based on how he plays, I don't get angry about the loss because there's a bigger picture here. And bigger picture-wise, I look at him, total stud. And a guy who's going to help them in a major way come playoffs. I mean, he backs guys down in the paint, scores over them. Incredibly smart player, physical, intelligent. The footwork is great. Just a stud all around. And the Heat will lose a game, but if Jaime Jaquez Jr. played well, not a moral victory. We won't do moral victories, but I got no problem taking the positive out of it. I'm looking at the bigger picture with this team. I look at the bigger picture with Jaime Jaquez Jr., and if the team lost, but he continues to be awesome, I'll sleep okay at night. You know what's the main reason I sleep okay at night? You guys know this. Sheets and Giggles. Come on. It's the holiday season. What better time than now to go to sheetsgiggles.com and get yourself some brand new bed sheets. The only bed sheets that I'm going to tell you about here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. I got the comforter, I got the blanket, I got the bed sheets, I got the pillowcases. I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow. Have you ever slept on a eucalyptus mattress? Sheetsgiggles.com. And if it's your first time on the site, for your first order, use promo code ZASLOW, ZASLOW. Use promo code ZASLOW at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your first order. And then every other time you go back, my man Colin, the founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles, he's always putting the promo codes out there. So go to @SheetsGiggles on Twitter, hit that follow, bang that follow button, smash it, smash that follow button. And then every time after, you're going to see all kinds of promos, all kinds of sales and deals. Sheetsgiggles.com, sheetsgiggles.com, where you're going to become one of over 100,000 Americans who sleep on Sheets and Giggles, the softest, coolest, most breathable sheets. Use promo code ZASLOW, 20% off checkout, sheetsgiggles.com. So tonight, like I said, my son's got soccer, Holiday Cup in Coral Springs this evening. But when we get home tonight, gonna kick back and relax, and you know how we got. You guys know how we do here in the Zaslow Mansion. That's with a fresh 6-pack of Johnny Cuba. That's right, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. I'm not pounding a full 6-pack to myself in one sitting. I mean, at least not normally. But Johnny Cuba, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0, the only beer that you're gonna see me drink. That's right. And you can pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba right now at your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas, European roots with a Caribbean soul. That's what we're talking about here, right? A refreshing German lager in a can. If the weather were better, right at the end of the show today, I'd go right outside, dip my feet in the ZASLOW Mansion pool, and I'd start drinking a Johnny Cuba and enjoy myself right there. But that's not the case, so we'll be doing it responsibly inside the ZASLOW Mansion, probably in the ZASLOW Mansion family room, sitting on the couch in my underwear. Johnny Cuba, make sure you always drink responsibly. And of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. So, we talked a lot about this yesterday. Big news in the NBA yesterday. There were a couple big stories. One, Giannis, 64 points. Giannis and the Pacers, a ridiculous situation with the game ball. And Draymond Green, suspended indefinitely. So, we'd like to hear from Steve Kerr, right? Well, the team had a practice yesterday, so the head coach always has to talk. And finally, we're going to hear from Steve Kerr now, and I want you to give this a listen.
I think the suspension makes sense. To me, this is about more than basketball. It's about helping Draymond. I think it's an opportunity for Draymond to step away and to make a change in his approach in his life, and that's not an easy thing to do. That's not something you say, okay, we're going to do 5 games and then he's going to be fine, right? The league did 5 games after the incident with Rudy. That's not the answer to pick a number. The answer is to help Draymond and give him the help he needs, give him an opportunity to make a change that will not only help him, help our team, but help him for the rest of his life. This is not just about, an outburst on the court. This is about his life. This is about someone who I believe in, someone who I have known for a decade, who I love for his loyalty, his commitment, his passion, his love for his teammates, his friends, his family. We're trying to help that guy because the one who, grabbed Rudy and choked Rudy, the one who took a wild flail at Yusuf, the one who punched Jordan last year, that's the guy who has to change.
I'm sorry. I can't take anything Steve Kerr has to say about this seriously. I can't. I think he comes off ridiculous. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth in regards to Draymond Green. So all of this time, okay, and you heard the key there, the guy who choked Rudy, the guy who punched, the guy who flailed at Yusuf, the guy who punched Jordan, that guy needs to change. So, this was the tipping point. Everything was okay. This This is Steve Kerr finally realizing that something needs to change. I'll tell you exactly why something needs to change, all right? All this time, everything was fine. He was protecting his teammate. This is Steve Kerr. And granted, Steve Kerr apparently, his players said that Draymond Green was protecting his teammates. Steve Kerr came out afterward as if, even if he is protecting his teammates, choking a guy out is somehow acceptable. Like that, like a light didn't go off in Steve Kerr's mind then, where it's like, you know what, this guy's got a problem. There's a pattern of behavior here. Maybe there's an issue, and it wasn't just about protecting his teammate. But now, he was protecting his teammate when he choked out Gobert. No suspension, nothing. Couple days away from the team. Go rest, go relax, okay? No suspension or anything when he punched out Jordan Poole. And you know what? Nothing would have come of it. If the video didn't leak, not a single thing. Steve Kerr didn't have anything to say then. Now, because it's an indefinite suspension, that's convenient. That he now needs to get himself help. Steve Kerr should be embarrassed. Should be embarrassed with himself. You can't believe a single thing that comes out of his mouth in regards to Draymond Green. All this time he's been defending him. All this time with this guy. And now, all this time with this guy. 10 years. And now he's saying he needs to change. Everyone else can see it. The only reason Steve Kerr or anyone in the Golden State Warriors organization is saying, they don't actually think it, saying he needs to change, is because the NBA is getting ready to throw him out of the league. All the time with this guy, and now, everything was okay up until the other night. Now it's like, you know what, I think he's got to change. That's too much. Flailing Yusuf Nurkic, that's too much. A little too much. Defended him after choking Gobert. They didn't punish him after he assaulted one of their own. Didn't want him to miss the ring ceremony. Didn't punish him. No suspension, nothing, because God forbid Draymond Green at the start of last season misses the ring ceremony even though he assaulted their own guy. And now Steve Kerr is telling you that this guy needs to change? Get the hell out of here. Embarrass yourself. He has enabled all of this, and now he agrees with this because it's an indefinite suspension, and he's got to say all the right things. I mean, and Draymond agrees with it as well. He knows something needs to change. After the Gobert incident, Draymond Green stood up there at the podium and specifically said, I'm not going to change anything. I'm not changing. Nobody's going to make me. I'm not going to change anything. Oh, but now the light went off, right? I wonder why. Because they're about to throw him out of the league, and he's going to lose all his money. What a joke. What a joke. Don't worry, though. Don't worry. Here's the good news. In a couple weeks, it's going to be all healed due to magical therapy. So you get that magic therapy. Be out a couple weeks, so you get that help, and then he'll be back, and he's all fixed. I'll never understand the league's stance on needing to get him help. I don't get it. They're not a babysitter service. Or maybe they are, but they shouldn't be a babysitter service. You're suspended. Go get help or don't get help. But when you come back, you're going to get an even bigger suspension the next time it happens. Or maybe we throw you out of the league. You need help? Okay, go get help. Or don't. This is a place of business. This is a workplace. If you need to deal with something on a personal level, by all means. But when you come back, it better be fixed. But he's going to go to some magical therapy. And he's going to be back in a couple weeks. And the NBA is going to let him come back because he did the magic therapy. So he's obviously all better. Therapy only takes a couple weeks. You're all fixed by the end of that. Come on. Everybody knows that. What an embarrassment. Steve Kerr, what an embarrassment. I don't understand why it's the league's responsibility to make sure that he gets help. I mean, and also and this happened with John Moran too, I believe, right? Where they're not banishing him from the team because he needs to be around the team and he needs to have support. Imagine any other job. If I show up, when I was working at Odyssey at 7.90 ticket, I show up to work, I punch a guy out. I'm going to first of all, I'd get fired. But let's say I just get suspended. Like, oh, we got to make sure ZASLOW gets the help he needs. And no, Zaslow, you're suspended. You can't do your show, but you still come. You got to be around us. Come on, you got this. We're your support system. Can you imagine any other job that does that? It's ridiculous. Imagine if Draymond Green goes to the mall, punches a guy. Are we all or anyone? Some rant person goes to the mall, punches another guy. Oh, we gotta make sure we get that guy out. The story is focused too much on Draymond getting help, when it should only be about Draymond being punished and going away. He doesn't need help. He needs to be punished. I mean, what do you think is the focus of this story right now? Is it about the people that Draymond continues to choke and tackle and punch and kick? Or is it about, let's all be sensitive to what Draymond is going through and make sure he gets the help he needs? How is that the focus of this story? He doesn't need help. He needs to be punished. If he wants to get help, go get help. But man, like the story, it's taking such a weird turn, this story. And this part really bothers me. The whole thing is an insult to people who actually need counseling. For whatever myriad of reasons you need counseling. This guy is just an asshole who has been enabled by everyone around him, who has repeatedly told you, I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep doing me. What are they going to do? No one's going to get me to stop. I'm not going to change. People go to therapy and work on themselves for years. But the NBA and the Warriors are going to have you believed that he's fixed, that he's ready to come back after a couple weeks. That's a crock of shit. People are in therapy for years working on themselves. The NBA is going to have you believe that he just needs to go to the magic therapy for a couple of weeks and then he's going to be all set and ready to go and everything's fine. It's insulting. The whole he needs counseling part. If he really does need counseling, which is a crock of shit, he's just a violent asshole. If he really does need counseling, then he's not returning this year. Maybe he'll be back next year. Therapy takes a very, very, very long time. It's an insult to people who actually do and need therapy. And by the way, I'm not talking, this is not a personal thing with me. I don't go to therapy. It's not like, oh, Zaslow, you're, not that there'd be anything wrong with that, but it's like, Zaslow, you're taking it a little too personally because you clearly go to therapy and this hits home for you. I don't. I can't. I saw a therapist a total of my life, I'd say 5 times. And the last time I did was when I was in college. So it's been 20 years. I don't do therapy. It's not for me. I certainly believe in it. Not for everything, but I certainly believe in therapy, but it's not my thing. It's not for me. And so it's not a personal thing where I'm insulted. I'm insulted for all the people who actually do therapy and work on themselves. Because now Draymond's going to go to that magic therapy. And he's going to be cured. In, a couple weeks. 10 games. He'll be ready. He worked on himself. He fixed it. He's back. He's ready to go. Steve Kerr should be embarrassed with himself.